Number of reasons why people think they are Christians when they're not. One is the error of information, because they know some facts. They can tell you certain truths of Christian doctrine. They can tell you certain understandings of what church would be about. They will know all the right words. It's said of the South that it's very difficult to pioneer a church in our nation in the South, because you have to get them unsaved before you can get them saved. Because everyone can say the right words. Everyone's aunt is a preacher or a pastor. They all can tell you the right, oh, I know Jesus. I mentioned before when we were in Lithuania, we were invited over to the ambassador's house. And the Harlem Gospel Choir was singing in Lithuania. And as we're there meeting the people, they're telling us about their careers. They're talking about their boyfriends or girlfriends. That's all this. But then when they found out we were pastors, they changed the vernacular. Now it wasn't their career, it was their ministry. They can say the right words, but I can tell you that they were not saved. Just because you can say some of the right words is a mistake. People think, I have enough information, I'm okay. They might think that they have a locational correctness. I'm in church after all, but you can be in church without Jesus. There are lots of churches. I take preachers now. One of the pilgrimages that I take all the pastors who come and preach for us to is just a few miles down East Avenue is the memorial of this great second awakening and Charles Finney and all of that. But you can look on that church and they all remark the same thing. Isn't this horrible? Here's the great revival took place in this building, and they've got a rainbow flag out front. They've lost the plot. They could say we have. In verse 41, his parents went every year to Jerusalem for the Passover feast. Every year they're going to what they knew was the right place to be. You can be in the right place without Jesus. They had been to the temple where a child of God should be. They had done what they should do in some aspects, but there are people who can come to church and not have Jesus in their lives, in their hearts. Pastor Wayman Mitchell used to make the statement all the time, being in a garage doesn't make you a car, being in a church doesn't make you a Christian. The error of past experiences. Joseph and Mary had past experiences. They had angels visit them. They had the wise men show up with all the gifts. They had dreams. They had past experiences with God, but they were missing Jesus now. This is a great problem, as people will tell you, oh, I got saved 32 years ago, and you haven't had an experience with Jesus since? That's a problem. Where is Jesus today? Another error is involvement. Just because I'm involved in church, I'm involved in the things of God, you can be helpful and not be saved. I was talking with Pastor John Gooding one time, and he had taken over a church, and he gets a call right after he takes it over, and the head usher comes to him, and they go out to lunch and begins to talk to the head usher, and he says, you know what? I'm not saved. I started coming to church with my wife, and then all of a sudden the pastor asked me, after a few months, my pastor asked me, would you help with the usher? And he became an usher, and then he became a head usher, and he wasn't even saved. He was helpful. He was a man that did right, but he wasn't saved. See, just because you're helpful doesn't make you a Christian. Just because you have a ministry title, that doesn't even make you a Christian. Some people will declare, oh, I'm this or I'm that, I'm a pillar, I'm an usher, yeah, but are you saved? This is why I have a difficult time wanting to put young teenagers in ministry, because we don't know if they're saved yet. We can't measure anything. It's not like, at 14, they're dealing with all sorts of horrific sin that changed in their lives. Maybe they lied to their parents or gave them an attitude or something. But, I remember one, they used to have the children's choir would sing every once in a while in Prescott. And one young little boy, he testified, he said, I used to hit my sister and now I don't hit her as much. I'm like, well, see, our text is a cautionary tale that you can be surprised you're missing Jesus. The Amplified Bible says of verse 44, but supposing him to be in the caravan, they traveled a day's journey and then sought him diligently, looking up and down for him among their kinsfolks and acquaintances. It's possible to be blinded from our true conditions when we are not right with God, because we have some information and we say we go to the right place and we say we are helpful, but that won't get you to heaven. Matthew 7:23, but Jesus replies, he says, but I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's laws. But Lord, didn't we prophesy? Didn't we? I didn't know you. And many Bible scholars believe that what they're saying is that they were in a place where some of that took place. They may have been in a church where there was prophesying or healing or good works going on for the Lord, but they themselves didn't know Jesus. He talks about the separation in Matthew 25 of the sheep and the goats. That he says to one, blessed are you with the kingdom prepared. And he says to the goats, you will depart from me. Away with you, cursed ones. And they say, Lord, when didn't we do this? They didn't even know. See, there are people who are going to be shocked that they wind up in hell. That's just a reality of they come to church. They will do some good things, but they are not right with God. They may have had even a past experience. Judges 16, verse 20. And then she cried out, this is Delilah, Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you. And when he awoke, he thought, I will do as before, shake myself free. But he didn't realize the Lord had left him. Right? He's messing around. He's not being right. He's, going to prostitute, all this kind of stuff. And yet he wakes up and he doesn't realize God's not with him anymore. We have to examine our hearts. This is what 2 Corinthians 13:5. Examine yourselves to see if your faith is genuine. Test yourselves. Surely you know that Jesus Christ is among you. If not, you have failed the test of genuine faith. What does he say? He doesn't say, test yourself to see if you come to church. See if you're helpful. See if you have a ministry. See if you have some knowledge. See if you have a past experience. He says, test yourself to see if Jesus Christ is with you. That's the test, the litmus test. The terminology here is actually an essayist term. It's the reference of seeing if gold was genuine. Because not everything that glitters is gold. Quote the old lyric. It's put under a test. There's heat, there's chemicals. And if it's not gold, it will show it. And if it is gold, it will show it. When my mother gave me a gold filling that had fallen out of her tooth back in the day, they don't use actual gold, but she gave it to me. And after, you know, it had been out for a little while, I took it down to a pawn shop to get, you know, because I'm like, this is no good to me.